people today claims they are empathetic because it's a good word to call themselves. I call myself, I'm very empathetic, but in reality, they are not, because empathy shows by actions, not by words. Well, I say that people sometimes choose who they're going to be empathic with because it's easier. And to be empathetic, it requires a great internal work. It needs to take the people out of their comfort zones and take them into a completely different person and life. And that is not easy. And that is a very brave act, for human beings to be empathetic to someone who's completely different. Be curious about other people's religion, other people's lifestyles. Um, I would like, all the women who are, causing so much transphobia towards my community, to put to be curious about how we are in reality. I grown up in Argentina. I felt feminine since I was 4 years old. I dressed up with my mother's clothes. All my world was always feminine. People in school, they isolate you because you're different, but also you isolate yourself. But you isolate yourself in order to protect yourself from whatever can happen. Growing up as a child, it was very difficult because no one wants to play with me. Everyone was calling me names. Um, it was very tough during my 10th and then, primary school. And I remember when I started secondary school, I think it was first year or second year, I never ever for the 2 years been to the bathroom. I was petrified to go. So I didn't. And things like this happen, all the time. And I isolate myself, but I discover in isolating myself a world that it was so incredible, music and films and books. I think those things, art, really help me survive. And then obviously you meet, the odd different around the corner, someone who is like you or almost like you, and you get to know each other, and you get to, do things together. But I felt very lonely and isolated up until I was almost 16 or 17, and I had my first boyfriend. And then I found out that the nightlife was heaven to me, and that opened a gate for my art. And I became a drag queen, and I was so famous, and it was my revenge. That was my revenge for all of the years that people bullied me. Um, and I just concentrated in being the best artist that I could be. And that took me to, you know, places like United States, then to Spain. I work all over. I work on TV. So in a way, it was like kind of like a triumph to me to, to keep on being honest to myself, to be myself, to show the world, without any mask, without being in a, I don't know, in some sort of closet. I never been. I always been out there facing the world. But yeah, but it was very, very lonely growing up. When I was 40 something, and when I was in London, I decided that I wanted to change my gender and my name and everything, like officially the start of my transition. And I was a drag queen, I think, from I was 18 years old until I was almost 40. And for me, being drag was a job, and being trans is the way I am. It's my gender, and it's my sexuality. I would say is a straight, is heterosexual. And being a drag queen was a job, but also because growing up in Argentina at the time was very difficult to become a trans person straight away, because of the, you know, the, I mean, jobs and all that. So I lived my transness through being a drag queen for many, many, many years. I lived my femininity through being a drag queen on stage, um, until I think it was the right time to decide what I was putting on hold for so long. And I think when I reached 40 was the right time to say, Victoria needs to show to the world, you know, I mean, and that's what I did. So that's part of the story, but part of my journey. I've got a story of struggles, like I believe many in my community. I'm a strong woman. I've always been, you know, but it's but it's but this is me. I mean, and I think that not everyone in my condition is as strong as I am. That is why I survived till my 50s years old, you know. I mean, it's from the region where I come from Latin America, that is a miracle. You know, the lifespan is 35 years old, and every door is closed. Everything is harder than the rest. Everything you do, you're paying double the price for everything, but you keep going and going and going, no matter what. And when you fell, some of your sister will lift you up, because in my community, the only ones that help each other, usually, you know, our trans community, our trans sisters. um, Now is more, there's more people we call allies these days, but there's a lot of these people who doesn't understand us. And in that case, I will tell them my story, just to see if I can plant that seed of empathy in them, to understand me and to understand my community. Last July, I celebrated 50, and for me as a trans woman from Latin America, it's a milestone, you know. In So for me, it was like celebrating 100 years, but and I feel liberated when I celebrated my half a century on Earth. And I think that my own coming of age was going from a very bullied child and teenager to a really drag superstar. Um, and I felt so safe in that persona, because I did it well, and I was, I enjoy being, a fabulous drag queen, like the ones in RuPaul Drag Race. But then, you're growing up, and there's things that, you want different things. And it took me 40 years to really transition officially into a woman to me. So I decided when I reached 50, I'm going to have fun for the rest of my life. I'm going to keep on facing the problems and keep on facing the troubles, because I'm a fighter. I have to be a fighter. I'm an Amazon. So to be a real empathetic person, you have to step out of your comfort zone and put yourself in somebody else's shoes. So it's taking actions what people need to do. And it's by taking action that they will find out about my real life, my real struggles, my real problems, and they will understand me, and we will give us each other a hug. Well, as we are all women emerging from isolation, it will be good that if we emerge together, not just a part of the women emerging in isolation separately from my community, the trans women of the world. So it's good that we emerge together, hand by hand, together.